On this episode of the Ask Will Show, I explain how to get what sometimes seems like blood out of a stone when a prospect doesn't want to tell you the information you need to sell to them. Hello Sales Nation, welcome to episode 12 of the Ask Will Show. Quick show today as I'm going for a cruise in the RX-8 shortly, and so yeah, we want to get the show out today, but it's going to be pretty succinct and hopefully flows pretty quickly, so let's jump straight in with the questions.
Right FX asks, I just want to think about it, what is the best play?
Right FX, thank you for your question. You just want to think about it. By the time that statement's been said, you've already screwed up and you've lost the advantage in that sales conversation. Essentially, if somebody wants to go and think about it, what they're saying to you is, I am not comfortable right now in closing this deal. One, I need to think about it. Two, it's an excuse just to get out of the way and get away from the pressure that you're probably putting on them, which is not necessarily a bad thing. If someone, and there's loads of situations, if it's a good deal, I am happy putting on a bit of pressure to get that person over the hump of making a decision, and then I'm always open to any problems with buyer remorse or refunds and stuff like that after the fact. I'm happy to have say if I was doing a consumer product, I would happily have a slightly higher refund rate for a slight bit more pressure up front of getting more people in, because some people do need that little bit of a push. I'm the same with myself. When I bought the car, the RX-8, I needed a bit of a push to just go and do it, and I've been debating it for months, and it's such a small amount of money to throw out a sports car that I should have just gone at it and not even thought about it. I was overthinking it totally. So that's an example of where buying it and a bit of pressure, which is peer pressure from my perspective, was a good pressure to get me to, because obviously I love it to bits, to get me to make that step forward. But in answer to your question, yeah, by the point that they've said, I want to go think about it, you've obviously, it's an objection which shouldn't come up. You should have first qualified them. They might just not have, they might have come into your car dealership, for example, or whatever it is, and they may not have had any intention of buying today, in which case you probably would have wanted to get all the details and follow with them and then spend your time with someone, the lower hanging fruit, that do want to buy today. And yeah, the question just shouldn't come up. If it does, you then need to go and re-qualify. You need to say to them or ask them the question, when are you looking to buy? What else can I do to help you down that process? And most importantly, that I nearly forgot or nearly missed out, I guess, you need to follow up. You need to find out and get permission to follow up. You can't just expect them to accept it. You have to say along the lines of, can I call you in 2 days' time and we'll just carry on the conversation? Can I call you a week after? Or can I send you this through the post? Get their postal address, get their email address, get their phone number. And if they don't want any of it, then you need to just cut them loose and be fine with that, because not everyone is going to buy. In general, you get a lot of tie kickers no matter what the industry is, and you have got to prioritize your time and not spend it with them.
Robert asks, trying to learn about my new customers and new prospects, but I do have some that will not share anything with me even if I bring these up. What am I missing?
Robert, thank you for your question. And yeah, guys, get most of our questions through Instagram. So if you're on Facebook, make sure you're following us at the address is facebook.com/salesman.red. Make sure you liked us on there so you get the shows that come up through there, as well as on YouTube and as well as on the podcast. And yeah, more questions on Facebook, please. I appreciate that. And I think the Facebook questions are going to get priority over the Instagram questions. Okay, from now on, Facebook questions will be answered more regularly than Instagram. Now, in answer to your question, Robert, some people, why would they not give you the information? They're either not a good lead, they don't care enough about you, your company, your product, to spend time, energy, and to give up some privacy to you. Now, this occurs when marketing go, we've collected 500 email addresses, and then they pass on to sales and 4 of them are actually useful leads. The 496 that are remaining are people that wanted a free download of something for free that they would never pay for because they're all cheap asses. And this happens regularly, and it's going to happen more and more regularly. And what's going to happen then is your sales manager, or if you've got a marketing manager that might cover both sales and marketing are going to get a pat on the back, and sales are going to get a kick in the ass for not closing more leads. And you've got to be very firm, and you've got to pre-qualify these yourself before you dive into them. Now, if they are qualified and you are not getting anywhere, then it's your problem and the situation you've got to be responsible for. And most of the time that will come from you are trying to ask questions before you have any trust and rapport with them, with the prospect. And trust and rapport, it's a skill. We've covered it a couple of times on the podcast, so I'll leave a couple of podcast links below for more information on this topic, because we don't want to dive too deeply into this specifically. But essentially, you've got to not become best friends with them. You've got to have a business relationship with them. If you want to become friends with them and stuff, that's all very nice and flowers and wishy-washy, and that can all happen later on. First, you've got to become business partners. They've got to see you as a genuine consultant who knows enough about their business, enough about the industry that they can have, that you can have a positive impact on their business. So you've got to be seen as an expert off the bat. So whether that means you write a book, whether that means that you've got your own website, which is increasingly is going to happen, of people are going to Google the salespeople that they're dealing with, and then they're probably going to try and select the salesperson who is the best well-known expert in the industry. I think that's going to become more and more of a scenario that salespeople are going to have to come up against. So you're going to have your own website. Your Facebook profile can't have pictures of you getting really drugged up at clubs at the weekend as your profile picture. Why you'd have that anyway, I don't know, but you know what I mean. Your professional image is going to have to spread beyond what used to be just your CV and your business card. It's going to have to spread across the whole of the internet, and the whole of the hole that people are looking at you from. They're looking through this hole, and what's powerful about this is you've got the ability to change the perspective that they look in at, and you just got to take advantage of that. So you've got to build rapport with them. You've got to be known as an expert. And yeah, you just got to get to know them a little bit before you try and sell them. It's all the classic sales stuff, but it's things that people go wrong. People jump in and they're told that the consultative sell is you sit down, you shake hands, you sit down, you exchange business cards, you're wearing a nice suit. You ask them about what problems they're having in their business. That is sucking value from them. The only reason you're doing that is that you want information so you can sell them. You've got to give value up front. So whether that's explaining very briefly before you sit down, I saw this article about your company and this and your competitors doing this, and then they're intrigued. Then they want to know more because you know more about the industry than what they do, and that's the situation you want to be in. So yeah, you just need to build more rapport.
Man FCR asks, how many times in a day do you call a hot lead?
So how many times will I call them is a very different question to how many times will I contact them. So it might be one phone call. It might be an email sent over whilst I'm on the phone with them with some more information. So they're totally wrapped up in my little bubble, the little Will bubble of, they've got me speaking to them, looking at all the information that I'm sending them. A couple of minutes later, after the phone call, they might get a text saying, oh, great to chat, blah, blah, blah. Then they might get an email afterwards with, here is the extra information that you requested on our phone call. So what you're up to 4, possibly 5, if there's a couple of emails, contact points then. And then at the end of the day, they might get another, very depending on situations, they might get another quick call that's explaining or like wrapping up the day, because I want them to have spent the whole day thinking and persuading themselves that the deal is a good deal and getting themselves into a good mindset. So at the end of the day, you ask for some kind of commitment, a firm commitment. Every contact point should have a commitment of sorts because you want a reply from them. So in answer to your question very specifically though, I wouldn't call someone more than once a day unless there is a very dramatic need for it. As in, there's a contract in front of you both and you need to go back and forth over the details. They need to go and speak to legal. You need to go and speak to your sales manager to get a slight bit more discount or change the terms, and it goes blah, 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 blah. Other than that, I wouldn't call someone more than that. The only other angle that I guess you're looking at is if they don't pick up. If someone doesn't pick up, so I'll give them a call, I'll give them a quick voicemail on the lines of, I'm going to now drop you an email, so you're laying it all out for them, because they're probably not going to listen to the voicemails anyway. If any of you guys are trying to contact me, you get my voicemail, don't even bother, just drop me an email, because they all just get deleted. I don't even listen to voicemails off my mum anymore. They just get deleted, and I'll call them back if it's useful. If there's a way to turn off voicemail, I'll probably end up doing that in the very near future. But I will call them, I'll probably text them, because very likely they've got the phone on them and they're ignoring you. That is the hard truth to this. Because as a salesperson, it takes a lot of their mental time and effort to deal with you, because they've got to open up the little world of, most people go to their jobs every day and just do the minimum they've got to do to keep having a job. They don't give a shit about the business. They don't care whether it's going to succeed or not. It's only when you get into C-suite, upper management, that then becomes a thing. So if you're not dealing with those kind of people, it's very easy just to ignore the salesperson's call. You don't have to deal with them, less effort, nothing's going to change, nothing's going to go wrong. And so that's what you're facing. So I would call them, probably expect them not to answer. I'll then send them a text, then they've got my number, and they'll probably save it in their phone. So next time I call, they'll know that it's me that's calling. So you're not wasting these calls and these touch points. Then I would email them if I didn't get a reply, and I track whether emails have been opened. It's not 100% accurate. Some people have software especially corporates have software to stop you tracking whether it's been opened. But if I see if it's been opened, then the games truly begin of, I'll send them multiple emails, allude to the fact that I know they're being opened, but not outwardly say it, even though anyone watching this will know. Anyone that I deal with knows that I'm into technology, so they would probably assume this anyway. And then it's a slight game of cat and mouse. But to put all this in perspective, if you're having to deal this, you're probably dealing with a prospecting situation rather than a selling situation. And so you just got to take it with a grain of salt, and you've got to be aware of it, and you've just got to get on with it. And with that said, this is probably one of the longer shows that we've done, even though I said it was going to be a short one, because I want to go rag round my RX-8 on the country roads near us. So, but safely and within the speed limits. So, question of the comments is, how many times would you email someone in the same day before it starts to get a little bit weird? You keep asking your sales questions and I'll keep answering them.